Hey guys, it's me, Jennie B, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. It's been so long since we have actually played this game. Probably like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't even know. I actually had to go back and watch where we left off, and I think the last thing that happened, we were exercising with Emmy, and we decided to race her, and we lost, and we almost died, so probably shouldn't do that anymore. There is some way to get to the school building straight from the auxiliary building, but I'm not key to find out and possibly get lost, so I exit out from the exit I know works. I'm pretty sure we slept for like hours. I'm not sure if we're going to class today or even like what time of day it is. I stopped at the stairs of the auxiliary building deliberating for a moment between going to the dorms to get my books and stuff and going straight away to the class. The sun stings my eyes, so I head towards the dorms. Oh, I should probably move my mouse. The halls are quiet as the courtyard was. Naturally, so since everyone is in class. I knock lightly at the door of 3-3 and push open the door when Motu calls from the other side. Sorry I'm late. 15 pairs of eyes turn to me. Good morning, Nakai. Mutao seems to be somewhat confounded by my coming in late, as if I interrupted his flow or something. Judging from the rambling lectures this class tend to be, that might be the case. I pass him the note the nurse gave me. Mutu takes it with a nod and reads it quickly. He lifts an eyebrow and gives me kind of a stern look, but doesn't say anything, just nods solemnly. Glenn. What does the note say? Does it say that I'm stupid and I shouldn't race people? I shrug and he gestures at me to run along, so I naturally do. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to hit the rhythm of the school. I haven't even stopped worrying about taking notes and been overly attentive. The first days I was pretty high-strung in class. Motu finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival's on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday. Please keep in mind the meaning of this festival in your minds. Games and food! Fried food. Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I. Yes. Thank you, Mikado. But what I meant was more, the remainder of his sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Moto deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway. Or as crowded as hallways in the school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. Naturally, I join the flow and grab a lunch myself because today is different. Today, I've been invited to lunch on the roof. An odd location, but that's where I was told to go. Fortunately, I managed to find shelter from the storm in the lee of the classroom door. I forget who I'm having lunch with. Oops. Eventually, the torrent subsides, and I step attentively out into the hallway, only to be met by Emmy, who comes flouncing down the hallway like a cannonball. Hey! Hi, Hisao! Great timing! I have super extra lunch today, as I promised. Let's go upstairs. That's right, Emmy. She's made us our lunch as a I'm sorry for almost killing us. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual that was that removed the lock. Emmy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. And suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere with no arms. Who could it be? Standing imposingly in front of us, Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Eek! Hello. Yipes! You scared me, Ren. Wait, isn't she? Hello. Noticing that Ren is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I look confusedly at Emmy. She's that friend of yours? Ren has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school. I didn't know you knew this person, Emmy. The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds till Emmy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off. I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Oh. Does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for 3. Nice thinking. They walk to the other end of the roof. I'll stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There's nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as in the other schools. After a few run-down benches and tables were scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look a little less desolate, the small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain-link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle, and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the schools towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at a passerby. You can almost hear it. Somehow, when I look towards the town center, the small town strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of the big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus, like their life depended on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly I haven't had time to think about how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to open the warmth, I feel the warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear, cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Ren in tow and produces one big and two small lunch boxes from her bag. Come on, Hisao, what are you waiting for? She is beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. Hello, girls. I see myself on the corner of the bench to take in a little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive view. Emmy suppresses a giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Ren and hands the other lunchbox to me. Here you go, lunch is promised. Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good. Thanks, I made it myself when I can. Conversation dies off as I set about business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Ren deftly opening the lunchbox and popping a forkful of food in her mouth with only using her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed by her dexterity. It's also a reminder of sort of place I am in right now. Will I ever get used to such sights as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean I'm giving up on being a normal person? What does that mean? Hisao? Or does that mean I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunch as if it insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. My morning always works up an appetite. Which is great, because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you'd lose it? Would you become a man? I very nearly choke on my lunch trying not to laugh. It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the mornings too? Do you always talk like this? Talk like what? Like what? Talk like what? I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How do you two meet? Ren seems content to let Emmy answer this question. Someone in the housing department thought we'd complement each other well, so when we were assigned rooms next to one another. Complement each other? Like shoes and a suit. Huh? Emmy giggles at my confusion. Put us together, and we got all our limbs. Get it? Ah. So I started helping Ren get ready in the mornings, and then that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Ren chooses this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of? This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is generally curious, makes me slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms, so putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods in what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Emmy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise. Ah, that was good. As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with Pink's color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch to herself. Rin dexterously stabs the straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I am once again impressed how flexible she is, but at this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow I don't think Emmy or Rin are the sorts of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure. So, Hisao, how do you like it here? It's quite nice, actually. I like high places for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch, too. Emmy grins a 1,000-watt grin, pleased by my response, I suppose. No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time, too, okay? I won't make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mock offended. Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve. She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will just have to keep eating lunch all alone. I'm suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy-dog eyes I've ever seen as Emmy pouts. Kidding! I was kidding! I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company is okay, too. Emmy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess that makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs. Rin! You didn't finish your lunch again! I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away! Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of the books that I finished reading. Walking inside, I see there's about as many students here as there was on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. Holy frick. As I drop the books I borrowed into the return slot counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging as they make a hit in the trolley next to her. Ah, sorry, Yuko. I didn't mean to startle you. No. I forget the voice for her. What the frick? I think it was more like a Miki voice. No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you? It's okay. I think I know everything is. Thanks. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. It's not much else to do. And after reading so much during my stay at the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down into the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come from it. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely into a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time, and get back to finding reading material. After an indescribable amount of time pursuing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into the bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. Feeling utterly drained, I head back to my room to the books I borrowed. There's been enough action and excitement for one day already. The first is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I know the story, of course, but I've never actually read the original book. It's just as trippy as I remember the story to be, with wacky characters and a nonsense plot. I start thinking of myself as some kind of Alice, too, hopelessly tumbling down the rabbit hole into this crippled wonderland. Oh, Jesus, dude. Okay, that's a rather strong expression. Still, the isolated location and the overt way the school accommodates to absolutely everything is unsettling. It's like it's another world. I wonder why I can't shake the feeling of being an outsider like Alice, despite most everyone being so hospitable and friendly with me. Turning another page, my mind starts drifting away from the book. It's quiet. I can hear my heartbeat thumping against the fabric of my shirt. For some reason, it makes me feel really bad, like it has since that time in the forest with Iwanako. Like I was locked in a cage with some nasty and scary. I put the book down for a while and stared at the ceiling, taking my time to shake off the feeling. 200 pages later, I fell asleep. Okay, so what day does this make this? 4? 5? Regardless, I think I'm going to end that here. Good area to stop. Saturday morning session, so this is day 6. We have been in here for 6 days, I think. It's crazy how kids over there have school on Saturdays. It's just, like, so insane to me. Saturdays, is in an American's, like, point of view, is all about cartoons, cereal that's super bad for you, getting up way before your parents do, and not going to school. Sure. It's so weird. I would hate it, but I guess they're so used to it over there, they really don't mind. And, you know, they're probably not doing too bad because of it. Japan is pretty high up there when it comes to really cool techs and gadgets. So, they're probably doing something right. Anyway, going off topic. This is a good place, I think, to stop. We are just about to start another day in school. Tomorrow is the festival, so hopefully that goes well. I know we helped Lily with her noodle stand, so I really hope we can, like, have some decision making and choices where we can go and decide who we can visit and check out, but there hasn't been much decision making as of late, so who knows. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode of Katawa Shoujo. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you check out the next episode, and I'll catch you guys later.